Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you guys had a good day trading, and hope you guys had a wonderful day as well. I'm just gonna get into some analysis here. A little bit tired. I had an injury today, pulled my back, but I will be doing some analysis for you guys regardless. So, yesterday at the close inside the Discord, we longed the triple Qs here when we were trading below. In the after hours, we were down like almost 90 basis points. And wow, what a reversal today, right? What a move, a 4.2% move from where we entered. So now we are up about 10, 11%. We cashed that trade out. And overall, I think we just hit a sell area here as well in the X wave. Pretty nice rejection on the smaller time frames. We entered, we dropped, we entered again. You see, so you're meeting sellers already. Everyone's talking about these gaps up here now. So gap ups, gap up, sorry, gap down here, gap down here, um, and there's lots of talks that we could be filling these gaps, and obviously earnings are going very well, so that actually may happen, right? This rally can continue. So I've already exited my trade on this bounce. To me, it was like I just had to take it off the table. It was just too much upside in one day for me in the Nasdaq. But talking about gaps, I mean, like we created another gap down here. Right? Like, there was so many gaps now in this chart. So could we fill one of these gaps? Sure. Could we fill it back towards the downside? Could we fill it up? And it was an amazing day today in the FOMC as well. They're signaling rate cuts. The yields, another trade that I've been talking about, a meltdown in the yields here, finally starting to happen. A massive drop today in the 20-year yield. TMF starting to take off tremendously as well. It's probably going to be up, but I think it was up much more in the after hours. So it's probably going to continue to pump higher here. So again, still holding our position from the lows at 43. I plan on cashing this out maybe once we get to 73 up in this area. So again, I gotta be patient with these trades. This was a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 setup. So many 1-2s that at this point it's going to be a massive move up. So that's what I'm expecting, and so far it's playing out. Talk about the dollar really quickly. So the dollar could have either truncated and ended early, or it's doing a larger corrective move, which it can do. So we got to be open to that idea that it's going to maybe do something like this. So it's a little bit messy right now, my chart. So I'm just going to get rid of a few things here. So this obviously this 5-wave move up is over. We got this ABC correction. So this could have already ended. And really, to be honest, with this big move down in the dollar here, I might as well call the top in the DXY, and we're getting ready for some more downside in a wave 3. So another meltdown in the dollar should help indices go higher as well. But we're seeing some interesting things here. So let's talk about the IWM, right? So the IWM had a massive move up today, right? We were up 2.5% at one point. Let me see where this actually ran up to. I guess we filled the gap. I guess we filled the gap today, back here at 228. But overall, I was actually expecting a sustained rally, considering rates are going lower. But really, what happened was we're up about 2.5% on the IWM, and or 2% on the IWM, and things just took a turn for the worse, and we lost all those gains. 2% drop, and it's sitting pretty much flat to negative right now in the after hours. I think, yeah, just flat at three basis points. So I'm not sure if this was a fake out in the B wave, a flat, right? I'm talking about flats. Bitcoin's in a flat right now, and we're getting ready for a drop lower. So if that's the case, then ultimately, get ready, guys. There's gonna be a big sell off in the small caps, and it's gonna take us down, way down low here, way down low. So that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but this is just my opinion, right? So if that's the case, then this flat is going to take us all the way back down to 212, and that could be really painful in the short term. That would mean more downside possibly in the traditional markets as well, because I have a hard time seeing the small caps selling off this much. uh, and the triple Qs and everything holding up. But again, we're getting amazing earnings for big cap tech here. AMD, Meta, all performing very well, right? So I don't see why the rally would stop, but just know that if this were a double correction and we're doing possibly an ABC, we could extend the X wave, right? We got gaps to fill up here, up here. This one would probably be the more realistic scenario that we continue to just grind up and then we correct back down lower in the next in an extended correction. And again, maybe I'm wrong, and this was the low, right? This was the low, and we're gonna go back to new all-time highs and make a new nominal high in the fifth wave. That's also very possible. You ended the 4-hour correction here, and this was another telltale sign that we were gonna bounce eventually. Right, we started to correct back down. We started to kind of break this downsloping trend line. It's a little bit. I think it's a little bit easier to see on the 1 hour. I believe. There we go. Yeah. So once this was coming to an end, you can see right about here we broke back below here, but to me this was like our trigger. We got beautiful bit bullish divergence, and then it was just a prime setup on the 45-minute as well. So yeah, that's how we ended up doing that trade. But let me continue on here. We'll take a look at some individual names. Some people are asking to cover some individual stocks like Nvidia, right? Nvidia did a very similar situation. So something I was talking about you guys, telling you guys again, I said we needed one more low in a fifth wave with bullish divergence, and that's what we got, right? Our fifth wave finished off, and what a monster reversal you got today in Nvidia. Nvidia was actually up 12%. I was debating buying NVDL for a trade setup like the triple Qs, but I think we had enough risk in the triple Qs here in the TQQQ, and it ended up playing out quite well because the triple Qs gapped up pretty significantly as well. I think we got in at right around 62 bucks in the after hours, and that was quite nice. Nice 10% win today. Let's talk about some other stocks here. So let me just finish up on Nvidia. So Nvidia, people are wondering where this is going. So for me, what we're looking for now is an impulse higher, right? Which could be starting already. We just need to break some downsloping trend lines here, which looks like we already did. I think. Let me just see. I think we already broke some downsloping trend lines. I think we ended the corrective move as well. Right, 4-hour cycle looks like it's done now. Oh, actually, maybe not. Actually, we got to be careful here because we need to break this 4-hour cycle. Looks like we're going to do that tomorrow, but the 4-hour cycle needs to break to confirm that this correction is over, and then we'll be off to the races in this final fifth wave. Could Nvidia have already topped? Possible, possibly, yes, very possible. I mean, this is a fifth of a fifth of a fifth of a fifth on the weekly cycle, on the monthly cycle. These are all fifth waves. This is all valid for a topping pattern for Nvidia, guys. This is it, right? You guys, you nailed it on the head. This is the topping pattern that we were looking for. Okay. All right. Let me continue on. I'll finish up some analysis on some other stocks here. So let's take a look at Tesla. So Tesla is also bouncing back up today. Just not liking the structure here of the wave. To me, looks more corrective than an impulse. And if it's already correcting down in a 5-wave move, which I don't think it is unless we get another leg down, then this would confirm a connector wave for Tesla, and it's going to mean that we're going to go back down to the lower levels, like 100, which would be extremely bearish because we're at 232 right now. But I just don't see that just yet. But I'm still warning for caution, right? I'm not saying it's time to sell your bags and get out. Although I have taken profits, but I think we are in a topping phase, right? You could take a look at Bitcoin, kind of melting down here. Can't really hold its own, and let me just see here. Take a look at some other indices. Some other stocks. Roku is actually in a good setup. Roku's in the buy area down here, hitting this red box, expecting some good earnings for Roku and possibly a gap up. Let me see. I'll cover some other ones. I think let me just check the Discord very quickly. Some people are asking to take a look at some stocks. Nvidia, yeah, that was a major one. I think someone asked about PayPal. So PayPal looks like it finished its correction here, and it's impulsing higher, which is good. So you should be going up. So maybe the market has some more life left in it, and we do have another all-time high on our hands. And the bears are gonna have to wait, right? Bears are gonna have to wait. But maybe the bulls, we're in a tough spot on the triple Qs. I can't tell you if we're gonna go higher or lower from here on out, because if we correct down from this for this Y wave tomorrow, this would mean that we're going back down to the 420s, the 421 on this Y leg, which would be, I think, a little bit too bearish. I think maybe we continue to get some good earnings and this X wave extends. But I could be wrong. I'm chancing a short right here right now. But if it hits my invalidation points, I'm just gonna stop out and wait for a better trade setup, because right now this is a big bounce coming here in big cap tech, and it's pushing everything up. Right, big cap tech has been oversold now. People are saying, "Oh no, they're trading at all-time highs," but relative to their all-time highs, they've pulled back pretty significantly. Right, they've got like a 18-20% drop on Meta. Right, who's not going to buy the dip on that? Google's down 14%. Microsoft also down. Again, Microsoft beautifully hit our buy area to the T, right at 413. I told you guys yesterday, Microsoft probably going to come into the buy area and reverse, right? And then that's what happened. And so this should have been a buy the dip opportunity. Microsoft should get some more upside, or at least, at the very least, probably a corrective move. Right now, I can kind of only make 3 waves. I guess you could force 5 waves if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You did end this with some divergence, so maybe this was our first impulse, right? Our first impulse down, which would mean a whole new downtrend coming in this market. But I'm just gonna stay on the sidelines here and wait for confirmation for Microsoft. I'm not gonna rush into a trade there. And let's take a look at a few more things here. Let's cover AMD, right? So AMD actually had a pretty wild day here. Let's get onto the charts. So AMD gapped up on earnings up here, and then sold off throughout the day. But relative from its close, it was still up 4%. It was up even more during the day. I think it was up 9 to 10% at one point, but coming back down. So for AMD, I'm going to be looking for a corrective move. Once this corrective move is done, I'm going to be looking for a short setup on AMD. So that's why I'm saying we might have to wait a little bit longer before we can short NASDAQ. I think we are due for a bounce, probably a bigger bounce relative to the move, but I could be wrong, and maybe we are going to correct very heavily and things are getting bearish. But Jerome Powell reiterated that, the time has come for rate cuts, and people are getting really bullish right now. So it's probably going to be a lot of people FOMOing into the market and buying at the wrong time, because I think that there's some bad advice out there. I don't think people should be FOMOing into anything just because someone says something on TV, even if it's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. I think the charts speak for themselves, and this is a double correction. If this double corrects, then this would be a time to chance a short position on an X wave. But you could also wait for three waves up. Right, if you want, I can already kind of make 3 waves here. Unless we correct tomorrow, then we'll extend the B wave. But if it wants to do an ABC here already, then this would be it, right? And you want to look for a higher target on this B wave. This would mean that we're going much higher. We're gonna go up before we correct down. It would mean that we're probably gonna go back up to 484 if that's the case. But not so sure about this one. This one I'm not so sure. Oh, look at that. the 1.618 goes back to the gap fill. So again, keep an eye on this one. If that happens, then you got a little bit more upside left. You got 5%. You got a 5% rally on your hands on the triple Qs. So we'll see. All right. Anyways, guys, that's it for me tonight. I don't really have much to add. The yields are doing what we want. The DXY is doing what we want. And then the IWM setup. So the IWM, you actually could have finished the fifth wave here if you wanted, right? You could force 1, 2. No, I wouldn't really force 5 waves here. You could if you want, but I can't really make 5 waves out of this. So I would have to say that this is a corrective move. And you're actually probably doing a flat similar to Bitcoin, what Bitcoin did, and this wave 4 is going to extend. And that's what I see here. Because right now when you look at Bitcoin, just very quickly, Bitcoin ended up doing this flat pattern where we went down, we pushed back up, and then we're correcting back down for a lower target here, and that's exactly what's happening. Bitcoin has dropped tremendously, like 7-8%. And if the IWM target, let me just calculate the flat target very quickly to see where this would actually go. All right, you got pretty darn close to it, actually. This would have been the target for the flat here. And you almost hit it. You got really close. You got really close. You got 20, you're 20 basis points away. Maybe another chart hit it. I can double check just very quickly before I head off to bed to snooze town. I am very tired. Let's see here. Okay, this one got pretty close as well, but nowhere enough. But you could say it's close enough for government work and call it a day. But now we should get a pretty big sell-off in the IWM if that's the case. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.